All right, hey there, Sam here with you. It's Monday, December 10th. Now, by request from the members here, they're asking for a look at EOS to the dollar. Now, I've got the daily up. This is on Bitfinex. Now, before we get into the count and what I think is here. So, one, for members, if you've not taken a swing at this, this is an excellent one to try and test yourself on, because this is one of the most challenging counts I've come across, well, that I can recall recently, anyway. So before I show you what I've come up with, I would encourage, so members, of course, I would don't stop it, right? Stop the video. Go see if you can come up with a count on this. I'd be interested to see what you come up with before you watch the rest of this. Test yourself. See what you can come up with. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, I'd encourage you to do the same. So you got to, this requires someone who's into Elliott Wave to come up with a count that works here. So if that's you, pause the video, see what you come up with. All right, post it underneath. I'd be curious to see, because this, you know, I'm not here to tell you that I have the correct count. I have a count that doesn't violate any Elliott rules that I think is valid. As to whether it ultimately becomes the count, well, we shall see. But you got to think outside the box here, because here's zero. All right, so that's something you should do is wick off zero. So as I look at this, so your eye, when you first look at it, you're immediately thinking, oh, this is, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So there's your count. But it just doesn't work, because if this were the completed one wave, that means this has to be an ABC, and I just do not see that. I don't see how we finish that. So if you look at it, so if this, we can definitely get a 5 coming down. So if this is, so think of it this way. If this is, we'd have to have a very unusual form. If this is A, we're going to have a big B, and then we're going to have to come down here, and this requires, right, so zeros here, requires a double bottom. Now, not that that's not possible. I mean, that may be what we've got here. But I think there's an alternate, because I'm looking at this thinking, God, with zero here, can I finish down here? Can this be... So I can look at this and say, well, there's some sort of 5-wave structure here. Is there a way that I can finish this? Well, here, let me show you what I came up with. But before I get there, before I get into all the detail that's you're going to be drawn to it, there is a case to be made here for something unconventional, or at least something where you're thinking outside of the box. So as I look at this, we certainly have, let me do it this way. We certainly have the possibility that we have some sort of 1, 2, 3. Now we've got an aberrant bar here, 4, 5. Well, let's get that degree up a little higher here. So there's certainly a possibility that we've got a 5 in. Well, if that's the 5, I can also get 5 coming down here. Well, this could be interpreted a couple of different ways if I open it up. In fact, it requires that. So if this is a completed one wave, so just for the sake of the discussion, let's say that that's a completed one wave. Well, what's the alternate? All right, where's the 2? Can't be here. Could this be the 2? 3, 4, and 5 are up here. Now those degrees have got to go have to get much bigger. So let's go. Oh, we'll put them in white here. So we'll go up to the big. Is this a possibility? Well, it might be. So we could do this. We could go A, expanded flat, into a C wave down here. So we'd have A, B, C. And I know what you're thinking, oh, come on, man. Well, that's why I started with, see what you come up with. Right? I don't see another way to finish this. Now, if that's the case, if this is A, so if it's an expanded flat, well, we got to think about where that goes. So if I take the length of the proposed A wave, and I've already got this preset. If that's the A wave, well, about as far as we can allow an expanded B wave to go is the 1382. Well, we're right here in the pocket between the 1236 and the 1382. We're in the pocket. So if it's a flat, then I need a 335. All right, well, I can get it. So here's the, I can do it this way. So here's the A, here's the B, and then I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so there's the A wave, right? So there's my A, B, C. So there's the 3 of the A wave. Now this, you know, you got to go with 3 there. So how do you dig 3 out of that? Are you going to do A, B, C? Well, it's just as hard to get 5 out of it, right? I mean, it can be done. But where it gets really interesting is trying to complete this in 5, and I think we're fairly close. There may be one more little push. So let me show you what I came up with. I know that's outside of the box. My Elliott people are going to be going, "Are you out of your mind?" Again, I take you back to see what you come up with. Not an easy count by any means. Well, here's what I came up with. So if this is the one, right, per that count that we just went through. A, B, here's my 5 coming down. Here's my completed ABC of the A wave. Well, you know, this is your best guess, A, B, one hell of a C, but there it is. Now, can we come down here and finish in 5? So we do have to pay attention down here at about 73.23, because at that point we'll have an invalidation, but let me work through that with you just a little bit here. So let me tell you right now, if you're not into Elliott Wave, you could stop right now because this is going to bore you to tears. But if you're into it, again, I challenge you, before you see my count, see what you come up with. So let me go down to, let's see if a 4-hour will cut it. See if I can come off of this high. This is a really challenging count. So if this is good here, we got to finish in 5. So if that's the B, well, all right, again, it's hard to see if I can open this up enough so you can see it, so we can work through it here, and I'll go as quickly as I can. I think there's a reasonable case here that we've got a 1, 2, 3, and then we get a triangle in the 4, and then but we get an overlap here. So because I've got an overlap of the 1, I've got a diagonal. So I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 ABC to finish. So looking at that, so you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish a leading diagonal in the 1 wave. Here's the 1. ABC finishes it. Now that symmetry is a little, you wouldn't script that, but I think it actually works here. So we've got to allow for the triangle here in the 4. 1, 2, 3. It's long enough. I checked it, so you can see it. So this is the 1 right here, and this is my 2. All right, so we're almost to the 1, 6, 1, 8. Then we go into this pattern here, and I think that we get a triangle there that plays, because coming out of that we go A, B, C. Now we have to go A here, A, B. So again, we have an expanded B wave here to finish this, and it's really I'm on a 4-hour here, but I've got an A, B, C into the B, and then you've got so it's whether it's here or here, it's very close, but I think because I've got 3 here, I can go A, B, C, D, E. I can get that B wave there. You got to go down to the 30-minute. I had to go to the 30-minute to dig 5 out of that, but I can get the B, and then I come down for the C. That completes the 5th of the 1st, and then I go A, B, C into the 2. So if I have that correctly identified, all right, so that's the 1 here. I've got to change my template. So let's go back to a measured move. So here we come to the 38. So it's a shallow, no question, right? So it's one hell of a bear market. This is actually the deepest retracement we get along the way. So this is a contender here for the 2 wave per this ABC. Well, if I've got that right, so again, remains to be seen, but if that's correctly identified as my 2, so I've got 1, 2. Well, measuring now, so you can just eyeball it here, you can see it, that the 3 is not going to be longer. So we got to go, here's my pivot here. So if that's correctly identified as the 1, and that's the 2, well, my 3, I've got this identified as the 3, of course, is not as long as the 1. Well, we know, of course, I remind you on a regular basis, 3 does not have to be the longest, simply cannot be the shortest. So thus the invalidation point that I referenced earlier. We've got to wick off the point to where, and it's right here, to where the 5th wave would be longer than the 3rd wave, and that's this yellow line right here. So that's at 69, 70 cents, right? So you'd have to really dial in on that to get these pivots exactly right. So measure it out so you know exactly where this invalidates. But I think this plays. So I can get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into my 3. I got to go A, B here. I got to get an allowed. So it's a lot of expanded flats. I understand. I know it. All right, it's not the norm. A, B, C into a 4 here. I think that plays better because I need the 1, 2, 3. Here I get the triangle into the 4 to where I can head down and finish this in 5. So if that's the 3, so this is technical. So this is good here. So if I've got this right here as the 1, this is the 2. Well, here's about as far as we'll see a 3 go. Here's the 2618, if that's correctly identified. 1, 2. Well, we go all the way to the 2618, so I like that as my 3. But then I've got to go into some more complexity here, into a complex A wave, B, C. Right now, so we could count it a couple of different ways. We could go A, B, C, D, E. Could do it that way. So you could do we could do A, B, C, D, E. Either way, I think we end up with the 4 right here before we head down. Now I got to open this up. So let me pull that off. If that's correctly identified, so let me pull this off. Going with this as my 3rd, coming out of the 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, can I finish now in 5? So let me open this up. So coming down from this 4, 1, 2, 3. So I can get a 1, 2, 3. Looks like a little triangle here again. That gives me the 5. So I get an impulse here in my 5. Got to allow. So I'm what am I on a 4 hour? Let's go 2 hour here. We can see into this a little bit better. You know, it's tricky, right? You've got to make your best educated guess as to where the 4 is here because we have such shallow retracements. But you can get it there. And then I can definitely get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here to give me a leading diagonal into that 1. So I like this as the 3, and if you measure it, as I recall, this was very good. So if that's the 1, this is the 2. All right, so here we come for the 3. So here's the high probability zone. I looked at that, but I don't think it plays as well. So here's the 272, not unheard of for a 3rd. Because I finish, I get this 5. I think that plays better. So this qualifies here. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3. There's the skinny 4. A clean 5 into my 1. There's the 2. And it would appear that I'm in the process of putting in. So let me clear this up here and we'll dig into that a little bit more. So let me go down to the 30-minute here and make the case here. So if that's correctly identified, and this is the 2, well, here's my 1, 2. So coming down, we're trying to finish. Well, I've got to have, if this is my 3rd, I've got to have an impulse here. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like we're 5 here now. I've got way too big a degree on that, of course, here. So let's see if I can, I got to do it this way. So that would come down. This would go here as the 5. So let's get that. We'll go yellow. Let's get down to minuscule, and then I'll take this up 1. So bear with me one sec here. So we'll go up to micro on that. Okay, so there it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. You know, it's a bitch here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's tough one here to complete that here, but so if I look here and I go, okay, if this is the 4 coming down, that's the start of my 1. So I can do it this way. So I just using the tools that we do with any chart. If that's the 1, that's the 2. So here, get that right on there. So we just barely qualify. I mean, it is a tick through, just barely long enough to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish the 3rd. So I can do this. Additionally, I can take the length of the 1, project from the 4, and look what we get here. So also right at the 100. So this is a perfect 100. This is a perfect 100. So I like this as a completed 5 to give me my 3rd. A, B, C for the 4. Sure looks like we're starting down for the 5. So we got to think about where we could be going. So if this is correctly identified as the 2 and the 3 is in, well, the 4, we're right here. This is so A, B, and I can definitely get 5 out of that C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into my C. So I've got a candidate here for the 4. Now, do we go down and finish in 5? Well, this again, so we're right between the 23 and the 38. Here's my algo target. So this puts me potentially finishing down here. So this would be, we'd be finishing down here, the 5 of the 5 of the 5 of the 5 of the C. So this is 5 of the 5 of the 5. I can't even see here's my C way down here. All right, so here's, excuse me. Here's the invalidation point right here, this yellow line here. That's when that's when 5 becomes longer than 3. So we got to watch this. Now can we come down here and finish this in 5? I think we might. All right, so here, maybe 1's going in now. It's hard to say. So can we get something like that to finish it? It's a contender. It's a contender here. So we got to watch this and see, can we, what, you know, so it's a fifth of a fifth. So we could have a diagonal here. We could have an ending diagonal. We don't know what this is going to look like. So far, it looks like I got a 1, 2, 3. It looks like I've just got a, it's too small on a 30-minute here. I can't call that anything that's complete. But something is in the process of working through to finish down here. So this area down here, what do we got here? So this is $1.10. Boy, it's hard. It's just hard not to like EOS at $1.10. Again, it's just like Ethereum. These are either generational buys, like the lowest price we'll see in our lifetime, or we're, you know, zeros down here. All right, so, you know, make your play. All right, so I'm a buyer. I do not think we're going to zero. Now, I could be wrong, right? So it's not for the kids' tuition money, but this is a very reasonable speculative, right? So always a difference between a speculator and a gambler. Gambler puts money on the table knowing the odds are against him. Speculator looking for probabilities where they can find some odds advantage. Right? I have a potential pattern completing down here at an algo target. $1.12, $1.10. Boy, I'd start buying at $1.20-ish in that range, looking for anything down there. So what's your risk? Right? So your risk is to zero. So that doesn't necessarily mean you go with large size, but you maybe, all right? So maybe, because the risk is so low, safer play. Always wait, get a motive wave coming out of here, take the ABC. That's the one you want. That's the safer way to approach it. See if we do pivot down here in this $1.20, $1.10 range. Do we come off of that with a 5? With a motive wave, right? Doesn't have to be an impulse. We get a leading diagonal coming off. Here's the trade, right? Because here's where you're wrong. Here's the stop. Oh shit, man! Here you can make with zeros down here. Yeah, why? No reason to take that. All right. So if you're speculating off of the idea that the low is in here at this target, right? Then there's no reason to move the stop. Take the small loser. If this goes deeper, then this count is wrong or it's not done, and then wait for the whole thing to start again. Well, we're zero down wherever we're going. Maybe we're going to the second algo target. Wait for that whole thing to start again. Take it the second time, right? Don't be, you know, have some conviction. Just because you got stopped out doesn't mean you don't take this, right? It's still perfectly valid. On the assumption that we finish a clean 5 down here. So there you go. That's the count that I've come up with. I would tell you this is a very difficult count to work through. You really got to work through it with your fib tools to come up with those tendencies, and it's not an easy one. So I challenge you guys to see what you come up with. Feel free, if you're on YouTube, post them. If you're a member, let's put it in the members chart area. Well, members will know where to put it. Let's see what you come up with. I'd be curious to see what are the alternates that both members, and if you're on YouTube, fire it up, post it up there. Let me see what you come up with. This is a very tricky one, but I think we're very close down here in this 120 to 110 range. That's an area to look long and hard at. All right, guys, be curious to see what you come up with. All right, that's it for today. We'll be back tomorrow. You guys have a good